judge was an enormous blunder, and I think that it struck people as being anti-American. And there's a question that Donald Trump can't answer, which is, if he believes that this gentleman is biased against him, why hasn't his legal team gone to court, followed the process, and filed a recusal motion? The lawyers won't touch it, and he has no response to that question.
Jeffrey?
Donald, don't listen to Nia. Look, what we're about to see here, anybody who wins a presidential nomination, can they reshape their party? Has the party been reshaped from the bottom, in essence, as I believe it has in Donald Trump's case? So is he going to put his imprimatur on the Republican Party as Ronald Reagan did, as Dwight Eisenhower did, as other nominees of both parties do? That's going to be one of the questions. To answer Michael's question, my point here has been repeatedly that the Republican establishment has basically sold out on race. They have bought into this whole notion of identity politics. It's bad. It's a descendant of slavery and segregation. It should get nowhere near the party of Abraham Lincoln. What Donald Trump is doing, and I will admit that he backed into a Trump University case, but he's calling out this role model. How many times over the years have we heard about the politicization of the police and the judiciary from liberals? I mean, how many times do they, wait, how many times do they say, this police chief is racist, this judge is racist, this, that, and the other thing? What did we hear about Ferguson? What did we hear about Baltimore? What,
that's
I mean, you can go on.
Jeffrey,
what?
That's not an answer. Respectfully, you're a Pennsylvanian, I love you, but why hasn't the motion been filed? Why hasn't he put in paperwork, whatever the cause is that he thinks, other than this man's Mexican heritage? Where is it? Where's the beef?
Look, this man is a lifetime member of the National Hispanic Bar Association. Wait. Of the National Hispanic Bar Association, which on July, which on July 2nd of last year put out a statement saying that there should be a boycott of all Trump properties.
That's also not an answer to Michael's question. Nor is it addressed.
Whatever his lawyers are going to do, what his lawyers are going to do.
If I were representing him, I couldn't say, I'm an attorney, if I were his attorney, I could not say, I would run afoul of the code of conduct. Absolutely. If I were saying extrajudicially what he is saying and taking advantage of the process.
Michael, he's running for president of the United States.
Are we going
to have a judiciary that is infected by racial politics?
Okay.
We are.
This is a total distraction from both Michael's question, the other question of what the hell this has to do with the actual case, nothing, and the notion of Donald Trump out of one side of his mouth saying Hispanics love me, they're going to vote for me because I've not said anything disparaging, to him now saying this Hispanic hates me because I've said disparaging things about him. You can't have it both ways. You can't be winning the Hispanic vote and having Hispanics love you, and this Hispanic be biased because you have said things disparaging about Hispanics. It's a total admission, and I think it really has him spooked. And you know it has him spooked because he's using a prompter tonight, which is a complete defeat. I mean, he is going to look so small on this rally on such a big day.
Almost daily for the last 6 months.
He's going to look so small standing at this rally on such a big night, speaking from a prompter with all of the excitement completely out of his sails because he has been spooked by this. It was near universal condemnation, and even you, Jeffrey, I love you. You cannot spin his way out of this.
I've listened to you for a while, and I now have a theory about how you see race in this election. When Trump talks about race, Trump is a hero. He's standing up against the PC hordes. And when anybody else in the world, including Paul Ryan, if they don't agree with Trump, they are a racist. And there is no other way to make sense of your comments, sir. There is nothing wrong with this judge at all. This judge is a part of some organizations. Organizations do all kinds of stuff. But Michael is right. I'm an attorney, and so are you. He is right. There is no basis to attack this man's character, to attack this man's professionalism, and you, I think, would be much better served to have a more consistent view of race than if Trump said it, it's right, and if anybody says against it, they're wrong. There's no other view.
Let Jeffrey respond.
I am saying that this issue goes way beyond Donald Trump. And it has been...
Has Trump ever said anything about race that's bad? Has Trump ever said anything about race that's wrong?
He hasn't said that much about race, to be perfectly candid.
Oh, he can't stop. Wait a minute. He began his national
I mean, has he given a national speech on race?
He began his national political career attacking the president of the United States, lying and saying he wasn't legitimately president.
What does that have to do with
race?
race?
That was the birther. It was all about race, at least many.
Chester Alan Arthur in 1880 was about race, and he was a white guy.
We're going to cover the Chester Alan Arthur election.
Good.
Don't worry.
Good.
He succeeded.
5 different white guys get attacked like this, and it's race when Obama is attacked?
Of course the birth thing was racist.
Oh.
Second, excuse me for talking while you're interrupting,
yes,
Jeffrey. I'll let you run your theory about race. I want you to pay attention.
Go ahead.
Mr. Trump began with a racist attack on our president. He announced for president with a racist attack against Mexicans. He said they were rapists. They were murderers.
No, illegal
immigrants. Let him answer. Let him say his piece.
He now has also said he wants a total and complete ban on Muslims coming into the country. He said he wants surveillance of houses of worship, of mosques. He now has attacked a federal judge, and he didn't say, oh, he belongs to a group, which there's nothing wrong with. He said he can't judge me fairly because he's Mexican, which he's not. He's from Indiana, not Mexico. Indiana is still part of the U.S. Now he's also said a Muslim could not judge him in court. I can't see into his heart. Okay, I have no idea if he's a racist. I hope he's a good person. But Speaker Ryan of his own party said the comment about Judge Curiel was, I quote, the textbook definition of a racist comment. That's coming from the Republican Speaker of the House. I mean, this is racist stuff he's playing with.
Jeffrey, the thing that I found most interesting was that you somehow suggested that what Trump is saying is in the tradition of Abraham Lincoln. And I can't imagine what the great emancipator would have to say about what he's hearing from Donald Trump.
The tradition of the Republican Party is that we are a colorblind party in a colorblind country. That is not the tradition of the Democratic Party, which has successively, on the record, supported slavery, segregation, lynching, the Ku Klux Klan.
That's not what this is about.
Wait. They're into racial quotas, illegal immigration by skin color. Ban the civil rights bills of the civil rights bills of the 1960s were redos of civil rights laws done a century ago.
Was the civil rights movement a racist movement?
The civil rights movement had to redo what we passed 100 years ago. You spent 100 years profiting politically off of keeping black people out of polls.
Is the ADL a bigoted organization? The ADL?
The Defamation League?
The Anti-Defamation League, which defends Jewish people. Is it a bigoted organization or not? Okay, so what's the difference between a civil rights organization and the ADL?
Well, what are we talking? I mean,
is the NAACP, in your view, your alt-right view,
it's become now a liberal interest group instead of what it was originally.
But Jeffrey, if the Republican Party is supposed to be colorblind, then why is Trump the first to bring up the fact that this judge is Mexican?
What I'm saying
is, here's what's
I love an answer. No, really, Michael, I'd love an answer. I'd love an answer to this. If the Republican Party is supposed to be colorblind, I agree with you. Then why is Trump the first person to mention that this judge is Mexican?
Because what he's saying here is that the judiciary has been politicized and racialized.
That's not at all what he said. You're saying that. That's not at all what he said.
I'm saying that what he has touched on is part of the larger problem of doing this.
So if we
all remember Judge Bork, he was a racist, right? Ted Kennedy.
He said Brown versus Board of Education was wrongly decided.
But Jeffrey, you are interpreting comments made by Donald Trump without any evidence that is what Donald Trump actually was referencing. You're sort of come up with this elaborate
Trump University. Yes, no question.
Right, but no. What he was referencing was that this guy's Mexican. I'm building a wall. That's all he said. You're reading into it and sort of projecting all these things onto it.
I am saying that we have had a long history here in recent decades of the politicization.
None of which Donald Trump has ever mentioned. So does Donald Trump even know that, what you're talking about? I'm not sure he does, because he's never talked about it.
Sure, because I think he's backed into this in his own fashion here with this particular judge.
You have no evidence that's what meant. All you can go on is what Donald Trump actually said, and he made no reference to anything you are referencing.
What he's saying is the guy has a political conflict of interest.
That's what I want to respond to. I uncorked this, and I would like to try and explain this to people at home, because there's a danger here that undermines the entire judicial system. So here it is. If S.E. Cupp were the judge and I were a litigant and it were a divorce case or a child custody case, by Trump's logic, I would say, well, she must recuse herself because she's a female. If I had a discrimination case and Judge Van Jones were presiding, I'd say, well, hell, he's a black guy. He can't treat me fairly. And if the case involved the Catholic Church, because you're a Catholic, Paul, then I'd say you must recuse yourself because after you're a Catholic, Paul, then I'd say you must recuse yourself because after all, we know where you worship on Sunday. Who's left to serve if on that thin basis Donald Trump gets away with this?
This is the point, Michael. This is exactly the point. This is what the American left has done to the judiciary, to police, universities.
You're too smart for that.
Look, I belong. Wait. Let me give you an example that has nothing to do with Donald Trump.
Trump for doing exactly that.
Wait. I belong, David, this will surprise you, to the United Church of Christ, which Barack Obama belonged to. Just today, there was an article on the Daily Caller, Tucker Carlson's.
I'm familiar with it.
Right. Okay, thank you. That says that someone at my church on the staff of the United Church of Christ has put out a memo that says, if you're white, you are a racist automatically. You can't get out of it, accept the fact. Now, that has nothing to do with Donald Trump. It didn't have anything to do with the issue. The point is that this is the thinking that goes on in places that are occupied by American leftists, churches, universities,
so why wouldn't you condemn
et cetera, et cetera.
When Donald Trump does it?
I am condemning it repeatedly. When
Trump does it, it's okay.
I am condemning it repeatedly. What I'm saying is the Republican Party has accepted this stuff and ingested it into its own situation here and is accepting this. And I'm saying that's wrong.
So you're saying what Donald Trump has said is morally wrong.
Right.
I am saying that racism is morally wrong, and what he is doing here, albeit by backing into this, is saying that here is a judge who belongs to these organizations.
No, that's not what you're saying.
That is what I'm saying.
It's good. Whatever it is.
That is what I'm saying.
So here is the big danger. Here's the big danger in America. That you begin to develop a cult of personality. No, I'm not. Be quiet. You begin to develop a cult of personality where an authoritarian strongman is right because he's right. In other words,
we're not talking about
the exact same behavior, if it were done by a liberal, you would say is racist. When Trump does it, it's right. It doesn't make sense to me, sir. I listen to you very, very carefully, and I'm going to say, will you denounce what Trump said as racism?
It wasn't racist. He is calling attention to racism. Hello?
He said the judge can't judge me because he's Mexican. That's what he said. Guys, the judge is Mexican.
Jeffrey, you just did a 6-mile lap to avoid answering the question.
I am not avoiding. You're not hearing me.
As to why he doesn't just go into court and ask the judge to recuse himself because he has a bias, and you didn't ask the question as to why you shouldn't just condemn his emphasis on race when you're objecting to race being injected into our politics.
This guy is so self-identifying as a Latino before he's the judge.
He's never. That's not what Donald Trump said. You're inventing a better explanation that Donald Trump has never said himself. What he said was very clear. He's Mexican.
Right.
He's an anti-Trump guy.
Latino.
He's an anti-Trump guy.
Are Mexicans Latinos?
Yes.
Are they? Yes or no?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. This judge belongs to organizations that repeatedly go out there, legal organizations. This is not about, if
this was not Donald Trump's reasoning.
If Scalia belonged to the Lawyers Association, would you not find this troubling?
He did. It's called the Federalist Society.
He told Jake Tapper over and over again. He told Jake Tapper over and over again, I want to build a wall. He's a Mexican. His point is very clear. Yours is very circuitous.
He belongs, as I just said to you, to a bar association that said that all Trump properties should be boycotted.
Then file the motion.
Jeffrey, Donald Trump didn't say that. You said that.
You're saying
Donald Trump said
I just
Mexican.
Today.
Well, okay, but again, so Donald Trump didn't even know that. So Donald Trump, all he was latching on was Mexican, which, by the way, he's not Mexican. He's American. He's an American citizen.
Of course he's American, but what
Donald Trump doesn't say that.
Anderson, what I am trying to say to you is that we have so divided this country.
I get you're saying that, but that's not what Donald Trump is saying. And Donald Trump doesn't even know that.
In Jeffrey's defense, this is a very difficult job. I mean, no one almost no one has defended Donald Trump.
Jeffrey's very skilled. He's very, very skilled. But sometimes you just have to say the guy was wrong.
I wanted to
the guy was wrong.
It is not wrong to call out racism.
Jeffrey,
We all agree on that.
Jeffrey,
we all agree on that.
Okay.
We all agree on that.
One at a time.
Can you please explain to me,
Yes, ma'am.
when you say that Donald Trump backed into the, and it's a little Alice through the looking glass for me because I really don't understand it. When you say that Donald Trump backed into this,
Right.
what do you mean?
What I'm saying is he approached this through the lens of his Trump University suit. And he has come face to face with a judge that he believes is prejudiced against him because of his political stance.
Okay, so then why to
But what I am
Michael's
saying
point,
to you is that the larger issue, this is part of a larger issue that has been going on in this country for years, long before Donald Trump. I mean, this is when Sonia Sotomayor said, put me on the bench because I'm a wise Latina. She is saying the same. She is saying the same.
That's not what she said.
I want to say one good thing. I want to say something in defense of Donald Trump. Is that okay? So
it all depends.
Up until now, as much as I didn't like it, you could make a case for him. When he would say, keep all the Muslims out.
No, he didn't say that.
Just let me finish.
Well, he said a temporary ban on
a temporary ban.
Total and complete for the adjective you use.
When he said that, though, there was a higher moral principle to which he could appeal, which is that I'm trying to protect America. I don't agree with that, but at least you could make a case. When he says, I'm going to build a wall, you guys, that's very offensive, but there's a higher appeal. I'm trying to protect America. He is now only not about his patriotism. This is about him. This is about his pocketbook. This is about his reputation. And it's the same appeal to race. Now, you are the one that says appeals to race should be taken out. And what I'm saying to you is you now have two problems, sir, as you try to defend this man. Number one, we are way down the rabbit hole. This is not about defending America. This is about him. That is a problem. But number two, if I said you can't be my judge because you're a white man and white men have done horrible things to me, you would say I'm a racist. But if Donald Trump says a Mexican can't be a part of his judge jury, he's a hero?
For calling out racism.
And now he's an anti-racist? This does not make sense. And I'm saying, you have been brilliant, sir, figuring out before anybody else what he was going to be able to do. And you have found ways to defend him. I think you are now out of defenses. And I think if you can't say this is racism, I think you're now out, you're beyond the ability of a rational mind to follow you.
I would not be here.
A rational mind can't follow you.
You hear me? You hear me? If I thought he were a racist, I would never have been here.
Fair. But one question. I don't believe he's racist either. I think he's a racial opportunist, which is different. A racist.
You think he's Al Sharpton? You think he's Hillary Clinton?
Let me say. I think
he says Barack Obama.
Hold on a second. He says things that are racist. But stay with me. We might get somewhere. I think he's a racial opportunist. I think he says things that are racist. Do you think he said anything that's racist? Said it. Not is, but said it.
No.
Okay?
You're not going to get any.
All right.
No.
I mean, not one thing.
No.
But if I said the exact same thing, I'm a racist.
What I am saying is that
if I say you're a white man, you can't be my judge. Am I a racist?
This is because, Van, we have spent the last 3 decades, getting into political correctness, getting into a situation.
Yes or no? If I say you're a white man, you can't be my judge. You're a racist. Am I a racist?
In this climate,
that's a racist statement.
In this climate, that would be said and ignored.
Look.
No, but you still didn't answer the question.
What?
In your opinion, would that be a racist statement?
Sure, of course.
If I say it, I'm a racist. If Trump says it, he's a hero. This is where we are, sir.
No.
This is where we are, sir. And there's a tremendous danger.
Can I say, Jeffrey, can I make one other point to you?
Yes, sir.
In July of 2011, I hope I get my facts straight. I think I will. In July of 2011, Chris Christie, governor of New Jersey, appointed a man named Suhail Mohammed
I don't know all the case, but I know.
Superior Court of New Jersey.
Right.
He had represented certain Muslim individuals who'd been detained for questioning as part of the September 11 investigation. And immediately there were charges from conservatives to Christie, who said, whoa, this guy may impose Sharia law. Why? Because he's a Muslim. And Chris Christie said, I'm sick and tired of this Sharia law crap. That's what he said. By the way, was he right about that? When he said, you're going to assume that this guy would impose Sharia law because he's a Muslim? Was Chris Christie right to say,
sure, if
that's
there's no evidence,
nutty?
Sure, of course he's right.
Okay.
If there's no evidence,
same thing is taking place with regard to Donald Trump. And how sad it was that today, Chris Christie, instead of, again, calling out the crap, stood with Donald Trump and said, you know, he's my friend and I don't believe him to be a racist. It's the same principle. It's looking at someone and saying, well, you can't be fair because you're a white guy with a red tie, and I don't like people with red ties.
But that is being said.
By Donald
Trump.
By Donald Trump.
No. As I just said to you, my own church has got somebody there who's putting out a statement that says, if you're white, you're automatically a racist and there's nothing you can do about it.
I can't wait to hear what Mr. Trump has to say about this when he speaks to the nation, because you know how he loves to call us all out, although never by